Set against the backdrop of Valkenswaard, a town renowned for its rich equestrian heritage, we find ourselves at the Longines Tops International Arena. Too many regarded as the home of show jumping for stage 10 of the Global Champions League, the most incredible grass ring that you will find throughout the entire season. And this is where we find ourselves here this week for GCL. Good afternoon and welcome everybody to what is going to be a sensational weekend of show jumping. And we kickstart the show with the Kunststars powered by the Iron Dames, who currently find themselves in second place on the leaderboard, the defending GCL champions from 2024. And we open up with one of the mid-season transfers. Julia Martinengo-Marquet joins us in the studio. Julia,
Hi.
this is wonderful to have you here. Firstly, welcome to Global Champions League.
Thank you
welcome to
so
the studio.
much.
It's great to have you. How are you doing today?
Well, doing great. Happy to be here in such an amazing place with this grass arena behind us. It's wow, super.
It is a remarkable location, and it does take a little bit of getting used to, because it almost takes your breath away just being able to watch it, especially from this view. You have now joined up with the Kunststars. I imagine this is a very exciting moment for you. Can you give us some perspective on when those conversations began? How did that mid-season transfer talk come about?
Well, let's say it started with a few chats at the end of last year, and then it became more reality and concrete through the first months, and we agreed on start with the second half. So here I am, proud to be part of this amazing group of ladies, and proud to start and excited to start here.
I think what we saw develop in 2024 and what we've seen continue in 2025, the project that has been set up by Deborah Mayer has been absolutely outstanding. One thing that the Kunststars are known for is firepower. They know that every rider that comes to the team brings with it a lot of horsepower, lots of action from the stable. Can you give us some insight as to what the stable looks like? What do you have available to you that can come to GCL stages and perform right now?
Well, I have a nice group of horses. The star of the stable is Delta de Lille, which is here, obviously. And then I have his loyal partners, which are Captain Morgan, which is jumping also here in Valkenswaard, and a few more horses that will help through the next legs to make, I hope, the best results possible.
What is the plan then for the next couple of stages? Mid-season transfers are exciting because you're able to come in almost like a super sub that we see, and you can make a big impact in the second half. Do you put up your hand and decide what you're available for? How does the conversation go?
Well, it went really smooth. It was the nicest group to talk with. I think we made a good plan for the shows that suits the best for thinking about calendar and type of shows. So I'm going to jump here, Riesenbeck, Rome, and hopefully Prague.
When you jump in a giant grass ring like this, quite similar to what you're going to find in Riesenbeck as well, what are challenges that one can find when there is such an enormous ring, so many challenges? What is something that you would look at already now ahead of GCL round 2 and go, all right, that I know is going to be a challenge already?
Well, I think I'm quite lucky. I have an outstanding horse that proved so far to be phenomenal quite in every situation. So I feel that way. I feel really safe with him. And these kind of rings are normally the ones he likes most.
You'll be jumping GCL round 2. I see that Sophie Hinnes, Catherine Ackermann will be jumping round 1. What do you think of the two riders? Talk to me about your teammates.
Well, I feel...
What are they like?
They are just amazing to watch. I really love the way they ride. They are just amazing. So I feel so happy to be part of this strong string of ladies.
We look forward to seeing you come on in round 2. We look forward to seeing you throughout the rest of the season as well. So best of luck here in Valkenswaard. Best of luck for the rest of GCL. And we hope that we see you many more times here in the studio.
I hope so.
It is an open door for you. Whenever you would like to come and join us, please go on and do so. One of the new mid-season transfers for the Kunststars powered by the Iron Dames, as Julia Martinengo-Marquet comes to join us in the studio. She'll be here for GCL round 2 as well. For now, though, let's take a moment to reflect on this incredible ring. We talk about its aura. We talk about what it feels like to be in a place like this. We decided to send Rosie Turner out with the current championship leaders and, ironically, the home team as well, as Gilles Thomas takes a walk around this beautiful, beautiful arena with Rosie Turner.
Well, this weekend we are here at the state-of-the-art Longines Tops International Arena, the spiritual home of the Global Champions League. And to talk all about this, who better to have than a rider from the home team, Valkenswaard United, Gilles Thomas. This place feels very special. Why is it so special?
Every detail is here. Two big arenas, like here you have the grass arena, who is every weather condition always in perfect shape. The grass always seems like new. Even on the third day it's still very good. And also you feel that the horses really like it and they jump always here very good. So I hope mine will jump as well good here. And then on the other side you also have a center arena. So that means that there are many classes during the day. So also for us it's a nice place to bring some other horses, some younger horses. Actually, I think it's one of the only globals that you can bring 5 or 6 horses.
Well, I tell you what, there's a lot to see on this tour of this very special venue. So, Gilles, let's go. Well, as we walk along this bridge, it's almost like we get a bird's eye view of everything. And I tell you who else gets a bird's eye view, the commentators and the judges who up in this incredible building, which we call the Spider, they've got their own little locations. They can see exactly what's going on at all times.
We have 2 big warm-ups here. The smaller one is we can use when we need to jump on the center arena. And then we have another one, a bit bigger one, that we use when we need to jump on the big grass arena. So it's a bit separate. That's good, and there are not too many horses in one ring, and then you can fully concentrate yourself on your course.
It's a huge arena, this warm-up arena. It's almost the size of an arena that you've been jumping in.
Yeah, this big warm-up arena is really helpful. I think the bigger the arena is, the less stress your horse gets. Because there are always many riders warming up for the class, but when you have some room, it's always nice, and you can do your own thing. And then your horse also stays quiet, and then you can go in with unstressful horse. Yes, here we have another arena. It's actually a covered one, so when it's too hot or when it's raining, we always can ride in this arena. I think a lot of riders like that their horses go a bit on the lunge in the morning or also just before you go on.
And is that something you like to do with your horses?
Yes, actually, especially with the 2 horses I have here, with Calista and Chiara, I always like that they go a bit on the lunge before I go on, because they are a bit stressful horses, and when they can go on the lunge like 15 minutes before I go on, they are a bit more relaxed. So that's also a bit the reason why I took the 2 horses to this place, because here are good facilities for them.
Well, we've walked now rows and rows and rows and rows of stabling. We think over 500 fixed stables here.
The stables are very big, so it's very safe for the horses, especially when you have stallions here. It's very safe for them, and at the end, that's the most important.
Yeah, and I mean, they look so happy. These are 2 of your youngsters looking so calm here. I mean, when did they arrive?
They arrived this morning, so they are settling very well. It's not the first time that they are here, so like Chiara, she was here already before.
Gilles, we can't talk to you and not talk to you about Valkenswaard United, currently sitting in the top spot. How confident are the team for this weekend?
Oh, yeah, the last couple of shows it went very well for the team. So we had a little break in the season. We had 2 weeks ago London, was good. So we hope we can continue like that. And yeah, here we have again me and Hansi Dreyer for the team. We both brought one of our best horses, and for sure we want to have a good result, because it's also a home show, so that's make it even more special.
I was about to say to you, you're about an hour and a half away. It really is home for you coming here. Does the atmosphere feel different when you go into the arena?
Yeah, a little bit. I hope the public and the audience will share a bit more when we enter the arena. But yeah, also when you can ride now with the armband, so that means that you're the leader. It gives a bit more excitement, a bit more pressure, and then we are all a bit more focused.
You've got to hold on to that top spot, Gilles. Thank you so much for showing us this beautiful, beautiful location for this weekend, stage 10 of the Global Champions League.
It's not a bad person to have take you on a tour guide here of the Longines Tops International Arena. To have Gilles Thomas, the man who is arguably the golden boy of show jumping in the world right now, leading in the GCL with Valkenswaard United, able to take you around on his home show. Gilles Thomas, Rosie Turner, thank you very much for that. Very nice to catch up with Gilles ahead of today's action from GCL Round 1 coming up in a few moments' time. Course walk officially underway. You can see over my shoulder here, beautiful bird's eye view of all of the riders that are currently measuring their strides, currently trying to work out exactly what they need to do later on today. More from that a little bit later on. For now, though, let's flash back to London. Let's remind you what took place in the previous stage, and most importantly, talk about the impact of that stage. This is what happened in GCL London.
Welcome to an extraordinary weekend of elite equestrian sport here on GCTV. We are getting set for the second round of the GCL, the Global Champions League here in London. Jana, though, has changed horses. She's got Direct with her as well. She jumped a 9-year-old for 8 in round 1. Had no team on 0 at the end of the opening round. The opening 2 teams have both achieved that in this second round. And what a great news story. Emily Conter with Portobello Venturit de Compte. Now she's just got 1 to go. Not quite fast enough to overtake Basel, but can they stay there in second for the moment? They've done it. Now it's Catherine's turn. No stranger to the big pressure situations. Catherine Eckermann changes over to Iron Dames Dalou Blue PS after the 4 on Cidello, and already 4. So they still have the lead by a clear fence, but not anymore. Now the clock, and she's got over the last. Where does that clock stop? They go into third behind the Mexico Amigos. The last team is the Shanghai Swans. Oh, well, there's half the advantage gone. If he jumps it clear, it's a win for Shanghai. If he doesn't, it would be different. But it is indeed.
Ben with 2 times 4 faults. We won. That means that the other ones had actually worse results than us, so it was difficult enough.
It's difficult for things to go wrong when you have Daniel Doyser, when you have Ben Mayer available in your team. Yet another win for the Shanghai Swans, and they continue to remain in that championship hunt, along with the Canstars powered by the Iron Dames and those championship leaders, Valkenswaard United. Let's go over the rankings then, give you some perspective as to what has changed, what has moved since the GCL in London, ahead of today's stage in Valkenswaard. They continue to lead, albeit by just 6 points. Then Canstars only a single point above Shanghai. But there is that 3-horse race, because with over 40 points between Shanghai and Prague Lions, it's very obvious to see that that championship fight is almost breaking away with those top 3 teams. But interestingly then, from the Prague Lions all the way down to the end of that page, one might argue, all of those teams are fighting for a top 4 place. We'll talk about top 4 later on today, and we'll explain to you how and why it is just so important to get inside the top 4 and how heartbreaking it can be to finish in 5th, just outside of that. For now, New York Empire find themselves in 10th, powered by Lugano. Rome Gladiators down in 14th. The Doha Falcons, how disappointing a season it's been for them. And as it stands, the Paris Panthers continue to fight with the Scandinavian Vikings, as the team in last place will not compete in the GCL Super Cup in Prague at the end of the year, and that is going to be a major, major blow. Nobody, new rule in 2025, nobody wants to finish bottom of the table, because that means that that team will not compete in the GCL Super Cup later on this year. We spoke about those top 4 teams. We've spoken about how there's that big chunk of teams that are competing for that top 4. One of the teams in form in that list is the Basel Cosmopolitans. Rosie Turner sat down with Basel to get some thoughts on where their season is right now.
Andreas, I think we've got to start with London. That was the most extraordinary weekend. Just tell us about it for those who might not know.
Yeah, it was indeed. First round for us started rather normal. We had 12 falls after the first round. Luckily for many teams, there was not too many teams on a clean sheet. So first to go, didn't have the biggest expectation, but we agreed on. Many teams were close to us, so the girls went in and we had a plan not to go too slow because there might be an opening at least to move nice
maybe
nice
a couple
step
of
up.
spaces.
Exactly. Not that we expected to go on the podium. So for us, the class was all of a sudden crazy exciting.
It definitely feels like it's a team who are just rising and rising. What were the realistic expectations that you had for yourselves?
The first year on the season as this team, but we have a very good team together. Very nice mix of different riders, and I think it was just to establish ourselves and come as prepared and as good as possible to each station and just give our best and see where it gets us.
Do you think you've surpassed your expectations?
Not yet. I think we can do more. I mean, in Doha, we were asked to describe the team in one word, and I think I said strong, which I also believe the team is. We are a group of riders that can deliver really good. Somehow, the first part of the season was good enough, but just didn't deliver as we expected with the horses and riders we actually had in hand. Now, luckily, first Monaco came everything together, and now again, I would say that appearance was very, very strong in London, and I hope for the end of the season that we can keep delivering at least. Okay, podium is with 17 teams difficult to reach, but I believe once or twice more, hopefully, and our goal is definitely, as I said from the beginning, to end within top 5.
Talk to me about strategy, though. How you decide every weekend which horses are ready. I mean, London's a really perfect example of, Zasha going in with a horse that had never jumped that level before. From your point of view, strategizing each weekend, how have you done it throughout the year?
As you said, it is a new team. I also had to figure everything out, and first part of the year we divided the shows a little bit equally and really tried to let people go where they wanted to go. Of course, some weeks worked our way, other weeks less, either maybe also because a horse was sold or one horse wasn't 100% fit, so we had to change last minute. I think now we will try again, at least to come as strong as possible.
So now you're back, because we actually haven't seen you jump for the team since Madrid. You're now back on the tour, you're back on, really fighting for this team. How excited are you for the rest of the season to have more of a focus on that?
Definitely a lot. That's what I had in mind already a long time in school, how it will be when I can focus 100% on the horses for a while. And that's what I try to do, to have more time, to be more focused than before. And I always said if you say A and if you want to do sport, the education is equally important for me to a certain point. So I also wanted to do good there, and that's what we try to do.
Are we allowed to ask how the exams went?
Very well.
We've got the results.
Yes, we got the results, and they were lived up to my expectations.
Lastly, Andreas, you're currently lying in 6th, but you are knocking on the door of that top 4. How determined is the team behind the scenes to get there?
Very much indeed. I think we have a very good plan. All stages are divided up between the riders, and everyone tried to make their best plan towards the next shows until.
Are they already planned?
They're already
Done.
planned,
Okay.
more or less. For sure, changes will come if we have an unfit horse or unfit rider or whatsoever. But otherwise, people really try to tell me where they expect what ring, what show would suit their horses. So everybody has their own working plan now towards, and we hope it then will give the success that can bring us into the top 4.
Well, as I said, it is a team on the rise. Massive good luck for this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Basel Cosmopolitans sitting down with us and having a conversation as to where they find themselves in the season. Can you imagine being busy with school exams and still needing to jump on a Global Champions League stage? These talented youngsters that we find on a weekly basis here in the GCL are truly remarkable. Where do Basel Cosmopolitans come out in the start list? That's a question. Let's show you then how the teams line up today. A reminder that round one is generated by a computer. There is nothing else to it. Auto-generated by computer for GCL round one. Paris Panthers, the team struggling at the bottom of the championship standings, have an unlucky draw. They will be the first to go. Can Stars, defending champions, will be out. Fourth, Madrid Emotion. We'll chat about them in a few moments' time. Will be seventh to go. Prague Lions, one of those teams in the top four hunt, will be 10th. Valkenswaard United, the home team, 14th to go. Quite a late start for them. Razorback International, they'll be happy with that. Followed by New York Empire, powered by Lugano, and Mexico Amigos, powered by H5 Stables. That is the start list for Global Champions League round one today. Very early start for Paris Panthers, very late start for the Mexico Amigos, and a handful of top four teams scattered around that start list. That does make for a really exciting GCL round one coming up in a few moments' time. We spoke about Madrid Emotion, or at least I mentioned Madrid Emotion a little bit earlier on. They are still and seemingly always seem to be involved in that conversation. They have an incredible history at the GCL Super Cup. They have been crowned winners of the GCL Super Cup in the past. They seemingly are always knocking on the door on a top four spot, and that seems to be the case once again today. We know that Madrid Emotion are here, they are present, and the very, very talented Kim Emmen is currently standing by to be one of the team riders to come out for Madrid Emotion in GCL round one. Interestingly enough, about the horse choices as well. Kim Emmen, along with Kesmet and Manuel Fernandez Saro, on Ezelius later on today. We decided to sit down with Kim Emmen to get some thoughts from the Dutch.
Kim, Madrid in Motion are so close, just behind the top four, just 3 points behind Prague Lions. What have the team been discussing behind the scenes?
We didn't really discuss, to be honest, but obviously 2 weeks ago in London was quite tough, the second round, because we were quite in the beginning of the teams, and we both jumped clear, but we didn't really road for the time because we thought on the end it would not be so important. But if we would have been 2 seconds or 1 second quicker, we would have been third, I think. So that cost us also some points, but we keep the eyes on the coming shows.
Eyes on the prize, 100%. Talk to me a little bit about the horsepower that you bring here this weekend and that the team have.
Okay, I bring this week 2 bit greener horses. Helix is going to step up for the first time 160, and Kesmet will jump to 155.
And we've not actually seen Kesmet on this tour before. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, he's a 10-year-old. We bred him ourselves, or Eric bred him himself, and he jumped in Eindhoven, the 4-star Grand Prix. He was 4th there, double clear. So I think he is hopefully ready to show what he gets.
I know Michael brings in Beauville as well, who's been so consistent on the tour. Do you think this is the weekend that you jump into the top four?
Okay, we are going to try, but you never know, you can never say, but for sure we go for the clear rounds, but I'm not sure if this is the weekend.
As you said, Helix has never jumped on grass before. How confident are you going out there with him?
I jumped him at home on the grass, and that felt quite okay, so we are going to go for it.
As a team, it seems a silly question because I'm sure you are all hungry to be in that top four, but just how competitive is it getting?
Okay, I think we are all getting really competitive for the top four because that gives us a straight place to the final of playoffs, and for sure we want to go for that.
And has the team talked strategy for the rest of the season yet? Is that planned?
We have the coming 2 shows planned, and after that, nothing.
Okay, well, massive good luck for this weekend.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you very much to Kim Emmen, giving us some thoughts, giving us some insight as to what Madrid Emotion is going to look like going today and into the rest of the weekend, and what does the season look like for Madrid Emotion, who are knocking on that door. But let's talk about GCL Super Cup. Let's talk about this infamous top 4 conversation, because it's important that we inform you as to why finishing in the top 4 becomes so important. Fast forward to the end of the season, when we wrap up the finals in Riyadh at the end of the year. We will know the teams that find themselves in the top 4 positions. Valkenswaard United, Stars and Shanghai Swans are running away with this race. But as it stands, Prague Lions currently find themselves in 4th place. But because of how tight the table is, we believe that from Prague Lions all the way down to the Istanbul Warriors, barely separated by 20 points, all of those teams that are highlighted in yellow are still very much in the mix. They are still very much in the conversation for a top 4 fight. If they are inside the top 4, it means that they are going to be competing in only the GCL Super Cup semi-final. It means that they will miss a quarterfinal stage. They will have one night less of jumping, one night of rest for themselves, one night of rest for their horses. And that, in the world of show jumping, is remarkably important. The teams do not want to jump more than they have to. Additional rest, additional time off is going to be very, very important. So because of that, they want to finish as high as they can to get themselves into that semi-final, to have the night off in the GCL Super Cup quarterfinal. Rosie Turner has made her way in from the ring. I'll deal with that. Talk to me about what you were able to gather from your time in the ring. Who did you speak to? What are some of the riders thinking about that course walk that's been designed?
Well, I actually managed to speak to our commentator today, Tom, and he said he thinks it's quite a big round one, actually. There are definitely a few question marks, and I think quite a few points that we're going to see some fences down. Particularly, I think it was fence 10 to 11, the Global Champions fence, is a style, so it's a much narrower fence, and it's also an oxer, which we don't see very often, and it's an oxer to an oxer. So I think we're going to see quite a few difficult parts of this course, which is really exciting. But also, as you can probably see in the arena, there are quite a few other fences from in there sort of dotted around that aren't being jumped, but it gives you routes that you could take throughout it. So depending on how the teams are going, some might want to try and jump in between to get a better time. Some might take a longer route, but we've got some young horses in this group.
Talk to me about that. I was going to say to you, some pretty interesting horse selections as well. We know that GCL Round 1 often gives riders the opportunity to be a little braver in their horse selection.
Yep.
Give us a quick update on who you think has brought a rather unique choice today.
Well, I think Madrid in Motion, I think we've heard from Kim, or we'll hear from Kim. She's got Kesmet, who we've never seen here on tour before. And she says that Kesmet can be very hot. So he can either be very calm, but any noise, he's very sensitive to noise that can make him then go. He's got an amazing way of jumping. She showed me a video yesterday, but he can be quite hot. So we'll just be seeing how he's coping today. Scandinavian Vikings are bringing in an 8 and a 9-year-old, which is extraordinary. We've actually seen Rock and Roll MXL, Sarah's horse, who's 8. We've seen him on tour, but never in the team. And Yer is bringing in Kiliman Sight, who we've never seen on tour before. So I think this could be really interesting as well. Prague Lions bring in a 9-year-old with Lente. Peter de Vos is right, but we know that this is a good horse. It's been really consistent. So we've got some exciting young horses. Obviously, Gilles Thomas as well. He's actually got both of his young 9-year-olds here, but we've seen them on tour. I mean, the superstars in his box at the moment are amazing.
The bravery to select an 8-year-old horse to compete in a Global Champions League stage is simply remarkable. Right, Rosie, we'll let you get to work. We know we have a very big, long day ahead. Thank you very much. There's a lot to look forward to by the end of the afternoon. GCL Round 1 will start. Then there will be a break. The managers and the riders will have an opportunity to change whatever they feel needs changing. And then we'll prepare for GCL Round 2 later on tonight. Show you the start list. We've shown you that the Paris Panthers are the first team to come out today. We've spoken about the top 4. We've spoken about the importance of that top 4 finish. We've also spoken about how and why those top 3 teams in the championship, in the Stars, Valkenswaard United, and of course the Shanghai Swans, are now in the hunt for a championship hunt. Of course, that is all to come later on tonight. We look forward to having you with us here on the stage to bring you through to GCL Round 1. We hope that you stay with us throughout the entire program. Paris Panthers and the Global Champions League Round 1 starts next.
What time is it there? Hong Kong, 16:30.
23:40 Zulu time.
What time is it there? She took my Longines. What time is it there? Sydney, 21:10.
London 2013 Zulu time.
What time is it there? Hong Kong, 16:30.
23:40 Zulu time.
What time is it there? She took my Longines. What time is it there? Sydney, 21:10.
London 2013 Zulu time.
What time is it there? Hong Kong, 16:30.
23:40 Zulu time.
What time is it there? She took my Longines.
Subscribe now for the best English show jumping on GCTV. What time is it there? Sydney, 21:10.
London 2013 Zulu time.
What time is it there? Hong Kong, 16:30.
23:40 Zulu time.
What time is it there? She took my Longines.
Good afternoon and welcome to Valkenswaard for the first of our GCL competitions. It is 10 to 2. This is leg 10 of 15 of the Longines Champions Tour. It's absolutely beautiful setting here today. Slight breeze, little bit of cloud, so no shadows to worry about. 19 degrees, 50%, 10 miles an hour, 10 kilometers an hour wind. Everything is set for a beautiful competition. Stands are just starting to fill up here now. There's a lovely air of anticipation around the place, so everybody's getting into position. Of course, the riders have just finished walking the course, so they're sitting down now, just checking everything out. Everybody's getting into position, as we say, and really looking forward to a great afternoons of jumping. There's a huge amount at stake here this afternoon. This Global Champions League is a phenomenal competition. This is leg 10. Every leg counts for these teams, as we've explained, so there's a lot at stake, a lot of strategies going on. We're just going to have a look at the graphic of the course. You can see the guys doing all the hard work out here, moving all these fantastic fences. Beautiful spectacle. There's our course builder, Giuliano Vizendi. So our course, 505 metres, 81 seconds. We've 12 obstacles, 15 jumping efforts. We'll go through the track, beautifully laid out in this absolutely fantastic grass arena. You can see some of our riders there just relaxing beforehand. They all have their own routines. They'll know where they are on the starting list. They'll have a very good idea what time they'll actually be in the ring at. So they'll have worked back. Marlon Bayard-Johnson walking around, Philippe Rosier, they're all here. This is the place to be this weekend. Yuri Mansour, he'll be the first up, so he's the first by in walking the arena. And there we have the Iron Dames team. So a lot at stake here this afternoon. Some teams have done particularly well and have won, 2-3 legs of this so far. So they've got their nose in front and they're going to want to stay there. Obviously, the higher up the rankings you are, the better it's going to be when it comes to the finals and the playoffs. Don't forget, we're going to lose a team as well before the actual final, the playoffs of this. So we're here in the Longines Tops International Arena, just running through our starting order. So first up will be Yuri, then Kevin Yuckums, and then I've looked down through the list, then Keane O'Connery, Harry Smulders. This is a really strong lineup as we're going to have today. Down here, number 10, Max, then Bertram Allen, Sanya Tyson, she's one to watch out for, Laura Kraut, Kevin Stout. A load of different riders here, all representing. These first 20 riders are as individuals today, and then from 21, from Alexa Ferreira onwards, then we're going to have the team riders come up. So they'll be coming in one after the other, representing their team, trying to put up a strong performance to get into this afternoon's second round. So look, names down there: Simon Deleuze, way up on the rankings, Henry van Eckerman, Emmanuel Gardiano, Kim Emmen, we've seen loads of her, Jor Vreeling, Peter de Vos. A lot to look forward to here this afternoon. There we have Gilles Thomas, number 48 to go. He's currently in the lead on the league. And then coming close to the end of this competition, Maximilian Christian Kukuk, Dennis Lynch, Scott Brash, Zoe Conter, Eduardo last to go. So a lot to look forward to. And we see them here now in the warm-up, just getting ready. The calm before the storm, for want of a better phrase. And you'll see 3 fences across the arena starting off. You'll see that small oxer in the middle, so they'll just build up as they get closer to their particular start time. You'll see the riders there just walking around the place, Dwar Sabra, having a chat, working out the strategies. As I say, a lot going on here. The teams can swap in horses for the second competition, so it'll be interesting to see what the different riders, what the different teams do, how they're going to approach this, as I say, the 10th leg of the series. Everybody getting very serious. Very interesting when we walk the course here. It looks a decent test, and from what we've had in the last number of the GCL legs, it takes a lot of jumping. It's 155. It is the first class, but in fairness to Giuliano and the course builders, you know, they know what's at stake here. They expect these riders to come in fully prepped. So take your seats. It proves it. We're all set for a real afternoon of jumping. Yuri first to go. Riding in Canto, VDL. This is a 12-year-old gelding by Cannon. Yuri ranked number 44 in the world, regular on all the big shows. He was third in the Grand Prix back here with this horse in July, so he should know his way around this arena. So don't be surprised if he sets out to have a really good pace. There's a serious prize fund at stake here. There's a total of €56,800 up for grabs, spread out amongst the riders. So there's a lot to jump for if you're not on a team. Yuri just puts his hand up. He's going to take a second. We'll have a countdown clock in operation here as well. So a lot of riders now will watch this first round to try and get a feel for the track. Just check the distances, see how it actually rides. This is a big horse that Yuri has. He's a 12-year-old, a lot of experience. And you can see already he sets up at a really good canter. So he jumps his first fence, which is under the fabulous big hospitality suite. Swings left-handed across the arena to the Longines Oxer. And then back right-handed. And you can see already he's moving. Tall vertical, heading towards the pocket. And then to the combination. Oxer, 1 stride vertical, 2 strides vertical. And immediately then on a related distance, down to this big Oxer with a water tray underneath it. So he'll be really happy so far now. Has started off really well. So tall plank, gets that out of the way, and now he can really start to wind up. There's a triple bar here, and then up the distance from the triple bar. 8 strides to this double. And now he's going to be turning left as quick as he can. There's a big screen here. This is a really tall, 1.55 meter vertical, full height. Oxer coming up. Now, is he going to jump this? This is an unusual fence. It's a narrow plank. It's a narrow style, but it's an Oxer. Normally we're used to that as a vertical. That's very unlucky. 1 fence down. Take a note of the time, 65.74. That'll be a serious time. So he shakes his head. First into the ring, it's always a tough job. Jumps this Oxer in the corner. And that 5 stride distance then. And as I say, that fence is not very wide, as in from left to right. It's unusual. It's a style, it's a narrow fence, but now as an Oxer, as I say, we're more used to seeing that as a vertical. And he walks out of the ring. That'll give everybody a good marker. Let everybody know what's coming. So next in, Kevin Jochems on Shanroe Peters. This is actually an Irish bred sport horse by Dallas VDL of a Condius mare. He's an 11-year-old. Kevin back from international duties. So this is a real blood type horse. Kevin, as we know, very competitive. Winner of a number of the big Grand Prix around the world already. So again, as an individual today, there's an opportunity here. So very neat on the first 2 fences. Now down to the combination. Oxer in. And then 6 strides up to that. And then across to this tall plank. They've got to be careful here. You can see jumps it on a little bit on the angle. It's white. There's a background to it into the stand. It makes it a very difficult jump. And unfortunately, he's had that down. Triple bar up to this double. Now, he knows he's had a fence down. And he's also had a second fence down. He's had that front rail. So he's going to use this now as an opportunity to give this horse a little bit of mileage. Now this stride, we'll see how it walks. Actually walked a little bit short. And just the last fence coming up. 8 falls, 66.30. Yeah, he was disappointed with that. That plank down the far end is a difficult jump. He was going particularly well up to that, so he'd be a little bit disappointed. You just see here, jumps it a little bit on the angle. And then has the first part, it has his front rail and the Oxer, and that double coming down as well. One of our younger riders in here now, former European Junior Champion, Giacomo Cassidy. So he's on a nice 11-year-old Kardobalinski mare. Real blood type and that typical way of going, very energetic. So, going to start this off, keep it nice and controlled, get the first number of fences out of the way. Very neat and tidy over 1 and 2, and nice and neat back to 3. As I say, it's going back towards the pocket, so you just have to give it a little bit more respect. And nice now, the combination comes up early in this competition. So, 2 strides to the last vertical coming out. Now a slight bending line to this Oxer with a water tray. And now how's he going to approach this? Comes out nice and wide, gets very straight to this pole plank, and now we can start to wind it up. So triple bar up to a double. So he can be brave here now. Real blood, light on her feet. Goes the 8 strides up, actually adds a stride up here. Oh, and just has that front rail down. Maybe paid that just a little bit more respect than he needed to. Now, Oxer, a 5 stride distance up here. Drifted a little bit, so just why he just had to move up to make up the ground. The last fence coming up. That's a pity. Yeah, she jumped this really nicely. A really nice blood mare. I'm going to see a little bit more of her. She's only an 11-year-old, so I'm sure there's plenty more. She won a Grand Prix, 145 in Grand Prix back in August, so she's on the upward curve. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit more of her this weekend. You can just see there, just got a little bit low on the way in. I say she's won a Grand Prix already this year, so I expect to see a lot more of her. Young rider will got a lot of experience today, and this Global Champions League gives them a great opportunity to get into these big arenas, particularly with the riders that they get to compete beside. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. You know, I'm sure they're imbued by, you know, the experience of riding beside world number ones, gold medalists and champions all around the place. So next up we have Baz Moorings and Kinvina. This is only a 10-year-old by Am Special de Muse. Was placed recently in a 150 speed class, so very athletic mare. You can see light on the ground. Now lovely technique there, really good behind. Just has to keep her off that front rail, and now you can see gets nice and straight for that tall plank. Unfortunately she just dived at it a little bit on him. This is a table A, so faults will count. Has to make a big adjustment. You really see how he sits back there, trying to get her to sit back. And that's why that Oxer's quite wide on the way out. So, 3 fences from home. Just needs to get her to settle down now. There'll be more classes for that mare to jump this weekend. And that narrow style has that front rail on that. Last fence coming up. 12 faults, 66-1-2. Yeah, unfortunately not her day today. We have a few speed merchants coming up and a couple of horses with really good form, so it's putting these riders early in the draw under a little bit of pressure. They know they can't go in here and be too tentative. They have to go in and really give it a very good gallop if they want to try and get any prize money or be in the placings. I suspect by the time this class is finished this afternoon, we'll have got 7 or 8 riders who will have gone around really quickly. So if you want to get something out of it, you're going to have to be very committed and get stuck into this class early. Next up, Carla Pizzoli and Heywin van Ravenest. This is a 10-year-old mare by Comelfo. Second in a 2-star Grand Prix in July. Or I'm sorry, won a 2-star Grand Prix in July, so has a bit of experience. This one, not going for the time. You can see already she's gone a lot wider to the 3rd fence than some of the other riders. Obviously wants to get this horse into the ring, get a bit of experience. A big jumping mare. You can see how much scope she has, and very athletic. Obviously this Grand Prix horse in the future, in the making. Just shakes her head a little bit now, coming back towards the pocket. Sorry, up the top end of the arena at the tall plank. And the triple bar now coming up. As I say, there's a huge atmosphere here in this arena. You know, big screen, lovely grass arena. It's important for the riders to get the opportunity to get these horses into these big stadiums, to jump these courses and learn their trade. And I think that's what we're seeing here. This, as I say, this is only a 10-year-old, big scopy mare. So yeah, the opportunity to get in here and meet these courses and meet this challenge. This is a difficult line, and did that so well. Be able to get her mare just to sit up, keep her balanced. And now the last fence in the far corner. Yeah, the time won't be overly, but you can see really delighted with the performance. They didn't worry too much about the clock. They wanted to get the mare in, get a nice experience, jump a clear round, and done that. So good job, well done. And that's our first clear round of the afternoon. So I'm sure we're going to see somebody take a lot of time off that, but as a mare for the future, you'd be very happy if she was in your stable. Yeah, well done, guys. Time allowed 81 seconds, so that's not a consideration. Yep, very happy. Okay, Cian O'Connor, one of the stalwarts of the Irish team. And this is a horse that won this equivalent class in Madrid earlier on in the year, so hang on to your seats. Don't be surprised if he's out to win this now. I'm sure he is. It's a 9-year-old by Cannon. No better man on these nice technical tracks. Cian will have walked it and worked out the distances and applied them to his horse and how he can see where he can make up the time. So I expect to see him now try and cut the corner here and be brave across this line. You can see very much up on an inside line. Horse is very careful. And now he lets him roll through the corner, comes inside the last jump to the triple bar, knows he's got a lot of scope. Takes the 8 strides onto the double, nice and careful in. And now we're going to see him wind it up really tight back here underneath the big screen to this 1.55 meter vertical. And again, this big striding horse, he's going to have to make an adjustment here, I'm sure. And really well done. You can see he just sat up in the middle on that 5-stride distance. Last fence coming up. Pop this and he will go into the lead. Well done. That's our leader. 66.09. Very calculated round on Cian's part. Knew how fast his horse could go, so I think he'll be very happy with that. Not a whole lot of options on this course. I think he took all the inside lines that he could. Took as many chances, but you've got to manage up the risk versus the reward. If you take too many chances and you have a fence down, you're definitely not going to get any ribbons or prize money today. You can see as he lands, he just moves the horse in front of him every time. Here's where he makes the adjustment again. And you can see eye on the fence, and he's very happy with that. Yeah, just walks out of the ring. Next man in, Harry Smulders. We don't need to introduce him to anybody. He knows his job. Bingo du Parc is a horse he's riding. This is a 14-year-old gelding by Malar Catargo. Jumped a couple of 145s here in August in the 2-star, and he was clear both times. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's been set up for this weekend. Be interesting to see. Harry, as we know, is naturally very quick. Doesn't waste any time. Very accurate. Again, if Cian's the anchorman for the Irish team, well, Harry's the anchorman for the Netherlands. Ranked number 13 in the world at the moment. Always there or thereabouts. His horse a little unusual in his way of going. A little bit unbalanced around the corner, but Harry just sits nice and quiet and lets him level himself up. Huge scope over the triple bar. And now down to the double. You can see, sits so quiet, so light on the horse. And then every time just puts the horse so accurately to the jump. Perfectly straight, so well. And here we go. Going a little bit wider than I might have expected. Just maybe feels the horse needs another round or two. But again, loads of scope. Comes outside, last jump coming up, and the clock unfortunately is not his friend on this occasion. Clear round with 70, 78. Goes into second place. Yeah, we know Harry can be lightning fast when he wants to be. Juliano gives a nod. He's happy enough. They've tackled the course adequately so far. There's plenty of opportunities for the speed merchants to come in, and there's going to be a lot of fun when we get the team riders coming in and see what strategies they play. But our first three at the moment, Cian, Harry and Carla, and you can see the difference in the time. We definitely will get a lot quicker than that, I'm sure, before this class is over. Hassan Santurk next in. No comment to step on. This is a new horse for him. He's only taken over the ride on this since August, so it'll be interesting to see. Previously ridden by Nadia Peter Steiner, so he's jumped a couple of 145s on it. You can see just taking his time, just getting to know the horse. Scopy horse. Watch him through the combination here. Really nice technique. good out over that vertical, really uses his body so well. Now Hassan is going to take a little bit wider, give him plenty room at the plank. And that's just nicely done. You can see he's taking that outside line. He's gone outside that last fence. So this is not going to be a contender for the podium today. But again, another rider who wants to get in here and use this opportunity. Let's see what he's like here on the double. Pops in beautifully. Sits nice and quiet. And really nice technique. I love the way this horse just keeps his eye on the fence. Doesn't look at the big screen. Real professional. Plenty stride. Listens to the rider. Whoa, just wait a little bit, and then he just comes off that front rail. A little bit fussy with his head, but I'm sure give them a couple more rounds together and they'll settle that down, and they'll understanding that partnership is just going to get stronger and stronger. So plenty of people in the crowd now. He's very happy with that. As I say, just a new ride, only taken over there a couple of weeks ago, so that's a nice step up. They've only jumped 145 prior to this, so he'll be really happy with a nice 155 track in this proper arena under his belt. Lovely horse here, you can see. Good technique, really good behind. Yep, happy, job done. Yep, the lads on the stand are happy, so that always helps. Yeah, Giuliano Marquet riding Delta Bill. This is a 12-year-old gelding by Tibet Tem. Very fast horse, has been successful on a number of occasions. Grand Prix, Rotterdam, La Coruña. It's a winner, proven winner, so, and quick across the ground. You can already see how light this horse is and how quick it travels. Very quick through the air, so this is a proper contender. Now get that plank out of the way. And now we'll see, gone wider there. She's gone outside the last fence, but I think this is a strategy. She knows the horse is quick across the ground, so better to stay going than lose time on the turns. Comes in, a horse just backed up a little bit, and the timing was a wee bit off. Unfortunately, that top rail is gone now. I figured she would have been well up on the time. So just 2 fences now to get home. And what a pity. And I'm sure hadn't she had that fence, she could have just kept coming and would be a little bit quicker than that as well. So would have gone into the lead by a number of seconds by my guess. That was unfortunate. Here we can see, just runs up to this a little bit. Very good in front, just the slightest rub behind. Now what a pity. Julia's already looking for the next fence. She'll have heard the pole fall. She'll be so disappointed with that. Watch the reaction. Okay, next into the ring, young Irishman. This is a horse that he jumped in this corresponding class in the Monte Carlo League as an individual. So Lexington, an 11-year-old by Toulon. Max based here in Europe at the moment, really enjoying it. Jumped in London 2 weeks ago, so sets off with a nice rhythm here now. Maybe not quick enough to beat his mentor and trainer Cian on this occasion, I think. Just needs to keep up a nice rhythm, keep coming. It's a good jumping horse. Max, one of those very stylish young riders that has come through all those young riders and development programs. Unfortunately, Lexington there just coming into the double just didn't pay it enough respect, unfortunately. That's just a couple of horses now have had to double down. The distance just, they float down that distance a little bit. I think it's very clever course building. And now, so as we sometimes see, when these horses have a fence down, they lose their concentration and they often have another 2 or 3 fences down as a result. I think they just get a little bit confused and a little bit disorientated where their body is, and you'll often see, particularly a careful horse, if it has one down, it just starts to get a little bit unsure of what it's doing. So I think Max will just go back, do a little bit of training with that horse, and I'm sure we're going to see Lexington again. He's a nice horse. This is very unlike him. You can see here, just runs up the distance here to this double. Max is trying to make the adjustments necessary. Lexington just didn't react enough to Max. Max was doing all the right things, pressing the buttons. And then, as I say, look, this tiniest little touch with his off 4 on the way up. And another fence is gone. So, as I say, the horses can just lose a little bit of confidence. And then you end up with a less than satisfactory score. Need to get an indication. Just watch Michael van der Vleuten on his way to the first fence, and we'll get an idea of whether he's off or what the plan is for him today. Liverman Kiesberg is a 9-year-old by Quickly the Keyser, a horse we would have seen a lot of in the past. Very energetic horse. This is a big horse, big jumping horse. We know Michael very competitive all the time. This looks like a Grand Prix horse in the making. He's popping over these 155 fences. Big stride, loads of scope. You can see he's wearing a sheepskin noseband just to encourage him to keep his head down. Just balance the canter. Lovely and care from him. Michael gives him plenty help off the ground, gives him loads of space. Maybe not as quick in a foot race as some of the smaller, lighter blood horses that we're going to see. You can see really sits up now to the double. Unfortunately, made all the efforts, but Liverman wasn't listening. And again, 2 fences down, you can see how quickly it can unravel on these horses and riders. Just spooked. He's just gone a little bit green here as well. You can see Michael just having to put his leg on and really encourage him. He just got a little bit phased by what's happened here in the ring. Maybe something caught his attention. Maybe it was the big screen. I'm not sure, but I'm sure he'll be back in here again and have another go and be better for the experience. And remember, these horses have to be trained. They have to be produced. You can just see here. That's the triple bar. Comes down to this, but you look and see Michael just trying to keep him organised, try and keep him balanced, but just a bit low on the way in. And he has both a front rail and then he has a back rail. So, loads of scope over that Oxer. And there's his dad. Don't worry, no better men. They'll go back, regroup, and I'm sure we'll see that horse back in here again in the near future. Bertram, Conquest of Rigo. Again, this is a very competitive rider. Not sure that this is going to be a class that he's actually going to set out to try and win. He's part of the new signings for the New York Empire, so not riding on the team today, but competing as an individual. This horse has jumped a lot of big classes recently. He was part of the European squad. You can see already the scope and the technique of this horse. This is a 155 track. He has experience at 160, but he was 7th in the speed class recently, a 1m50 speed class. So I'm sure when Bertram decides to let him run, but I suspect we may be looking at a Grand Prix for this horse on Sunday. As I say, and definitely in the future, there are plenty legs of this league to come, and I'm sure whoever the manager of this team is, of the New York Empire team, they'll be looking at this pairing and saying, right, we need you guys in the future. Definitely looks like a horse that could pop the two legs of this quite easily. Lots of scope, and don't forget the second leg of the Global Champions League is 1m60, so you need these big scopy horses to be available for the team. I'm sure Bertram will be getting the call up really soon. So clear round, but 73.49. Ranks him in 3rd place at the moment. So jumped a good round. As I say, it needs to be a bit quicker here to put him on the podium by the end of this class, I'm sure. But here's a young lady who particularly likes being on the podium. Big winner here in the past. Sanja Tyson riding Cumlan. This is an 11-year-old gelding by Cooper van Hiflik. Bertram just walks out of the arena. Sanya's on her way down to the first fence. This is a horse that she's jumped in a 6-part competition as well. She was 3rd in that, so obviously loads of scope. And we know Sanja is very quick, she's very competitive. And she's neat back here to the 3rd fence, so let's see if she's going to keep winding it up here now as she gets through this course. Loads of space going into the combination. Oh, horse just backed off it a little bit at the end. He's a big jumping horse, loads of scope. but obviously just looked up, saw the back rail and the rest of the combination and wasn't too sure what to do with himself. Now we'll see, will she represent or is she going to jump another fence and retire? I think she's going to retire on this occasion. Comes back, pops the vertical. Yeah, just a little bit of a misunderstanding going down there to the combination. Looked to me from where I was standing, she gave him a really nice ride, but just when he got there, he just emptied a bit. Emptied on her, didn't put his hind end underneath him, give him the scope that he needed. So she's yep, she'll go back out. I'll say another horse on the up. It's only an 11-year-old, so plenty jumping to be done. Started off really nicely. You can see very good over that vertical, and here we come to the combination. Everything looked good, came off the ground really well, and then you can see maybe he just misjudged the back rail. You know, these horses are entitled to make a mistake, but thankfully you can see how light the poles are, how quickly they move away, and obviously the addition of safety cups has been a fantastic development to our sport. It makes it so much safer for both horses and riders. No harm done, she can go back, and I'm sure we'll see that horse again this weekend. 14th combination to come forward. Harles Hankiera on Orgi van Gieven. This is an 11-year-old stallion. Coming to the end of the individuals now, so there's an opportunity here for somebody to really put a stamp on this. Comes to the third fence now. Now let's see, is he going to wind it up here now? Big scopy horse. And now needs to keep moving now if he wants to be in contention. Oh, he's just run a bit deep. You can see Carlos trying to make the adjustments there as he came around the corner. Knew the horse was just going to get too close to that tall plank. Tried to encourage him to come back, but he just wasn't listening enough. So gets to this double now. I'm sure as we get to the business end of the league, the team managers are going to be looking at all their alternative combinations to see what's the best way they can get themselves to the finals and to the playoffs. All these riders are going to be under pressure now to try and have their horses ready to be able to perform on the final legs. Each of the legs will count for the league, and that puts the pressure on everybody and makes this so fascinating to watch. And as I say, we've the whole afternoon to this now to see how it's going to play out. The first 5 teams is very, very little in between them, and then there's a gap, and then we have teams at the bottom that are going to be very much under pressure. Remember, we're going to drop a team before the playoffs, so nobody wants to be the one left out. So there's going to be a lot to play for here. Yeah, a little bit of disappointment there up in the H5 stand. So now here's a lady well used to winning. Très Bien was third here in the 150 class back early in August here in this arena. So a 10-year-old gelding by Toulon. Laura Kraut, as we know, ranked number 18 in the world, top ranked lady rider that we have, has been for a long time. Out and out winner, just off the back of a big Grand Prix victory 2 weeks ago. So her enthusiasm is just phenomenal, her love of the sport. But what we love about this lady is the horsemanship and the way the horses go for her. This is very quick, very, very neat. Très Bien is really on form. You can watch her ears and how she listens to Laura. They have such a good partnership, and jumps the double, as some riders have found so difficult. She makes it look so easy. Now this is the business end of this round. Big oxer, then the 5 strides to this wide oxer but narrow in width. And now what's she going to do? Very neat. She moves up to the last fence. This could go into the lead. Here we go. Yep. Where are we? No, just pipped. Just gone into second place. Wow, that was a great effort. I think she'd be a little bit, I think definitely Keane is relieved. 66.09 is in the lead, and Laura 66.12, so absolutely nothing in it. Keane hangs on by the tiniest whisker. So look how high she gave that. Maybe that's where a couple of hundredths of a second went. Très Bien was definitely spring-heeled today. Laura's delighted with that. You can see the big smile. Little bit disappointed she wasn't into the lead. That's where she likes to be and where she's well used to being, but I'm sure she'll be very happy with the performance of her mare. Kevin Stout, a man we know very well, former world #1, and definitely he is set out with a purpose and really quick from 1 to 2. So if he can just maintain this, he's going to be in contention. So up to the combination, gets the horse balanced. Nice encouragement, you can see really supports the horse. Juliano, to be fair, has put the combination early. Last part of the combination has just caught him out. Kevin had done everything, had got in beautifully. And you can see just a little bit quick now to that plank, and he has 2 fences down. You can see he's committed to the round, so he's just going to stay going now. He's not going to let the horse realize that he can get off the hook just because he's at a fence down. So keep going, use the opportunity to train the horse and get that experience. You can see there when you look back at the roll-off fence, it's underneath a big screen. So the horse really has to learn how to go that little bit quicker and concentrate on the job in hand, and that's what Kevin's doing here now. This is a horse that he wants to win a lot of classes with. He knows has the potential. It's already been a winner at 145 level here. Won a jump-off class a couple of weeks ago. He was also successful in a 150 speed class. So these horses have to learn to go quick and jump clean. So it's all part of his education. He got a little bit braver than he needed to be. So now hopefully he'll come back the next day and have learned from that experience. Beautiful light on his feet. You can see just the way he moves, the way he steps out of the ring. Really nice horse. So he'll concentrate a little bit more the next day he comes in here. And I'm sure, again, another horse we're going to see over the weekend. Philip Weiser, ranked number 58 in the world. Hugely successful rider. We know he's won so many of the big classes around the world. Popeye Van Bishop, VD Bishop, is a new horse to him. When he got this horse in July, so he's only run a couple of shows on it. First fence down, so that'll be a little bit disappointing because he looked like he was starting out on a very positive rhythm. Has a look up at the screen as he goes by and sees the fence down, though I'm sure he felt it as well and he heard it. So as I say, this is a new partnership and they're going to use this now to get to know each other a little bit better. Really nice type, you can see. Light off his feet. Little bit of an unusual technique behind, maybe not as there, he's much better there over the plank, just held his body a little bit over the water tray, and I'm sure with a little bit of mileage he'll get used to that. Lovely over the triple bar, and now lets him float up the distance here to the double. Makes a small alteration going in, but lovely on the way out. You can see what the horse's reactions were. Just go high and then use his body. I'm sure if that first fence had stayed in the cups, we could have been looking at something definitely in contention as he comes here to the last fence. It's only a 10-year-old, so I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of this combination as well. And that first fence up underneath the hospitality suite, so it's a little bit something. There's plenty there for the horses to look at if they're a little bit green or a little bit less experienced. So here you can see just barely bumps it with his fetlock on the way down. Actually, Philip was possibly coming a little bit across the jump to try and shorten the line from the first to the second fence, but it's not to be on this occasion. Hennessy's a horse we haven't seen in the ring for a short period of time. I haven't seen him since February, actually, when he did this class in Doha. So Malin Bayer-Johnson, as we know, hugely competitive rider, competed at the highest level, has gold medals in her trophy cabinet, has a lot of big Grand Prix in her trophy cabinet. So herself and Hennessy have had a lot of experience. As I say, he's been off for a while. He's a 12-year-old gelding by Hogwarts. And as you can see, just getting him into the ring, looks an absolute picture. Look at the expression on this horse and the way he carries himself. Ears pricked and lovely down to the combination. Moves up to the water tray, and again, that real reaction that you want. When he's not so sure, he just goes that bit higher and then really uses his body. Carries himself very nicely. Look at where his head and neck is placed out in front. You know, from a rider's point of view, that's a lovely place to sit. And that reaction when you get there, and that's a difficult double. Let's see how he handles this. Very neat on the way in, and then just so powerful on the way out. Big light canter. Looks like he's got a double bridle on him. I think there's a lot of horse there, and you can see he's forward in his attitude, but still listens enough. And beautiful up that 5-stride distance. And I would have thought that was going to be a difficult line for him, but Malin just sat up and kept them together. Really neat round. She'll be delighted with him on his comeback. 71.97. Not quick enough to be in contention, but in 4th place at this early stage of this competition. But I think that'll be a case of job done. We just watch him again here. He's an absolutely gorgeous horse. I just say, beautiful, absolutely stunning looking. Has obviously enjoyed his break and has come back better and stronger than before. So I'm sure Malin's absolutely delighted with that. But a really good, really strong partnership, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of classes for those two for the rest of the season to go and show us their star qualities. Michael Grave next to go. Coming to the end of the individuals in this class now. Denver, horse on his way back from European duty. He's a 10-year-old by Dirado out of a Quantum Mare. Big Grand Prix horse, big jumping horse. You can see pops this 1.55 meters. Really good technique, makes it look so easy, so light in himself and so good with his body. And of course the man in the saddle is a commentator's curse. Unfortunately that water tray just distracted him for a second. Unfortunately an early fence down, you can see comes up the inside to the triple bar. Again, this is a horse probably coming into the ring. You know, I'm sure he has a, as I say, he's not part of the team today, but will be in the future, and definitely will have an eye on the Grand Prix. Lovely horse. Watch how his ears are pricked, really attentive, looking for the fence in front of him. You can see these real professional horses that have a lot of experience and a lot of mileage. You know, they're not fazed by the music, the noise, the background, the screens. You know, the connection they have with the rider is just impeccable. And there, runs deep to the last fence, water tray at the back of it, doesn't take any hits. So interesting when we see the replay up to the big red oxer after the combination. Just got a little bit low on the way, and here we see it, the water tray. I think if we saw it on a slow motion, it would be the slightest of touches. But as I say, light cups, flat cups and light poles, it makes this sport so subtle now. The slightest touch and you're walking out with a fence down. Absolutely stunning looking horse. So relaxed, so chilled out. And now, Highway, TNNOP, William Greve, the man who rides that absolutely gorgeous Grand Dorado stallion that we see so much of, but a very competitive rider. Again, a guy who's been on national duty recently to the highest level, extraordinary performances in the last couple of weeks. But I'm sure he'd like to come out here now and get some prize money as well. It's not all about medals and ribbons. He'd like to pay some bills. Yeah, this is a nice light horse, quick across the ground. And as you say, Willem very, very competitive. Triple bar. Here. And here we go, out of the common, out of the second double, vertical coming up. Now gets this oxer. Doesn't look too bad on time, needs to keep it coming, but could go into the lead. I think he will. Last fence coming up, last of the individuals. Now and yeah, I think this is our leader. Just about 300ths of 400ths of a second. A quick look, 66.05. Yeah, just pips Keane and goes into the lead. And now, after the individuals, our leaderboard, our current standing, William goes into the lead. Keane O'Connor, Laura Crowd, Harry Smulders, Malin Bayer Johnson, Bertram Allen. They take up the top 6 places. And that's us done now with the individuals. And we're going to wait now for the team riders to come back after a very short break. So hang on to your seats. welcome back, and we have round 10 of the Global Champions League here in Valkenswaard 2025. That's all to play for. 17 teams coming to post for the afternoon session, 2 riders from each team, one after the other. Their combined scores, faults and time will bring them forward to the second round later this afternoon. There's 16 teams who come forward to the playoffs, 17 teams come forward to the finals. Everything to play for. We have a number of teams out in front, have had a very strong performances earlier this year, and now is up to the rest to try and come back and catch up with them. Here in Valkenswaard, a little bit overcast, slightly cloudy, 19 degrees. Perfect weather for show jumping. Here we have some of the previous winners. So, the previous winner, 24, won by Reisenbach International. 23, Saint-Tropez Pirates. Berlin Eagles in 22. The London Knights in 21. 2019 New York Empire. Currently the Valkenswaard United are in the lead, so they want to keep their nose in front. Tactics being spoken around the place. The team managers, the team principals will be getting this together. There's Dennis Lynch talking with the opposition, Scott Brash. Once this competition gets underway, there won't be much friends left at that stage. It'll all be about the team that you're riding for. The overall standing at the moment, Valkenswaard United are out in front. They have 193 points. Then Cannes Stars, 187 in second place. The Shanghai Swans, 186. Then a little bit of a gap back down to Prague Lions. So they're on 144. So as we get down to the bottom, we look at the Paris Panthers. They're under a little bit of pressure with Scandinavian Knights and the Doha Falcons in 15th place. Rome Gladiators. So there's an awful lot to play for. Remember, the 30 points if you win here, but every score counts on all 15 legs. So here, let's have a look at the arena. It's 125 metres long. It's 85 metres wide. It's an absolutely gorgeous sort of jumping surface. We start here on the first fence, coming towards the pocket, underneath the hospitality stand. So it's a nice big oxer. Then you swing left-handed across the arena to this Longines oxer. Decent oxer, I think it's about 1.50 metre. It's definitely 150 wide, and then you turn back to a very subtly placed vertical on a bit of an angle away from the pocket. Difficult jump for horses that are a bit green or a little bit less experienced. And then Uliana, our course builder, has put the combination early. So it's an oxer in, one stride to a tall vertical. It's 1.50 metre that front rail, 155 wide. Then 8.1 metres for that first stride. Jump this vertical, 155. Plenty of fillers in it. Global Champions plank at the bottom. Then 2 strides coming out, 1.55 metre maximum height. Then a bending line to the 5th fence. But the notable piece about the 5th fence is a big water tray on it, a big red oxer. Now we swing right-handed to the 6th fence. This is has been very difficult fence. It's a really light plank on top, facing into the crowd a little bit. Horses really have to concentrate. Riders have an option here. They can come inside 12 or outside, as the graphic is showing us, to this triple bar. And now a nice floaty distance up here on 8 strides, 1.90 metre wide on the triple bar, so it will open up the horses. And then we have 8 strides on that bending line up to this second combination. So this has a vertical in, and again nice and tall, 1.55 metre. Juliana hasn't held back here. 8.20 metres, so a little bit more room than a combination. And this oxer, 150 in the front and 1.60 metre wide. It's a big jump. Now we swing left-handed underneath the big screen. So again, for your young horse that mightn't be as experienced, he's really got to concentrate on his job. Again, it's a really tall vertical. I think this is the one full 155, and a left-handed bend now to an oxer. Coming across the middle of the arena, and then a 5 strides on a really slight bend to a wide oxer, but narrow in width. And then you can see they've on the graphic, we're coming inside the 6th fence. That mightn't necessarily happen to the last fence, which is a vertical on the way back. So we've 15 jumping efforts, 12 fences. Time allowed is 81 seconds. That's not going to be that influential today, I'm sure, because it's combined faults and time will be used for bringing us forward to the next round. Our first combination, the Paris Panthers. Alexa Ferreira will be our first up. Valkenswaard. Now we got next, Saint-Tropez Pirates are next up. Again, a real experienced combination. Third in, Stockholm Hearts. Again, the 2 brothers. Interesting to see. New dynamic. Then the Cannes Stars. powered by the Iron Dames, the all-ladies team, have definitely a force to be reckoned with this afternoon. Next up then, Istanbul Warriors. Look at these two gentlemen, Simon de Lesser, Henrik von Eckermann. How every team would love to have those guys in your starting list. Look at the Rome Gladiators again. Manuel van Gardiano, loads of experience, and then Roy van Beek, young man stepping up his game. Great opportunity. Roy van Beek, young man stepping up his game. Great opportunity. Coming in from Madrid in motion, Kim Emmen, absolute superstar of our support. Manuel Fernando Faro, we know him so well. Again, the Scandinavian Vikings, they're coming here with plenty to prove. They want to get some points out of this and improve their standing. Monaco Comets, again powered by the Iron Dames. Again, a very strong team coming. I look forward to seeing what they bring today. Again, another strong Prague Lions coming in 10th place. They'll be 1 and 2, led out by Peter de Vos. 11, I think this could be our favourites today. Ben Mayer, Max Kuhner for the Shanghai Swans, 11 to come. 12th in will be the Basel Cosmopolitans. Again, Andreas Schuh, their team manager, he's going to lead them out. 13th in, we have a new signing for Doha Falcons, Sheikh Khalid Al-Tahani, he's going to lead them out. Valkenswaard United coming in 14th, Hans-Dieter Dreyer, Gilles Thomas. 15th, Reisenbeck International, Maximilian Weisbert, Christian Kukuk. New York Empire, Dennis Lynch, Scott Brash, another very strong team. Second last to go, and then last to go, the Mexico Amigos, Zoe Conter, or rather Pereira Menemes. So again, it's all to be played for. Crowd is really picking up here. As I say, conditions are absolutely perfect. A little bit overcast, no shadows to worry about, slight breeze, perfect for the horses. Hopefully there'll be no need for that man, but there's loads of support on standby here. You can see the teams having a little bit of a chat, deciding they really need to see how this is going to play out in the first 155 competition. Remember, they have the option to change up their riders, change up their horses for the second competition. So first up to get us underway, the Paris Panthers. Alexa Ferreira coming out, ranked number 62 in the world on Vital Horse de Florizod. This is a horse that she has a lot of experience on. She's a good partnership. She's done a number of the GCLs with this horse already. She was in Monte Carlo, she was in Paris. So she's going to have a look around and just settle in. So it'll be interesting to see what approach they make. From the recent GCL competitions that we've watched and looking at all the results, clear rounds are what are most important in this. You know, double clears are hard to come by at this competition. So I'm sure as the competition has gone on and as the season has progressed, you know, the tactics are definitely going to be, for the first round in particular, this 155 class, try and get the best result that you can. Get a clear round. That's going to put your nose in front. So here we go, heading down to the first fence. So yeah, you don't want to waste any time, but at the same time you don't want to be too risky. Risk versus reward. This horse is really scopy. Class over the first two fences, and now, as I say, the combination coming up early. This is only a 10-year-old mare. Very nice through the combination. Now she just needs to keep it together. Big water tray. So again, as I say, young horse, but that's very well ridden. Goes out that little bit wider, and now you can see she's come up that inside line to the triple bar. Feels confident this is a fence she can take a chance on. And now sits nice and quiet, makes a nice alteration, sits up. So these riders will have watched the 20 riders and the individuals that have tackled this earlier on, and they'll have got a real good read of this track. And actually, I think it's very fair. It's given the opportunity, you know, it levels up the playing field. The first rider in isn't at a disadvantage. So Alexa, to be fair, has really made good use of this. She studied the course. She's made a very solid plan, and what a fantastic start to this competition for the Paris Panthers. I'm sure her teammate is going to get a lot of confidence from that. Well done, Alexa. That's a great start. She's done that really well. 65-68. Super start to the competition. She'll be delighted. So now she hands over to Celine Sabat de Varedo. You can just see the last couple of jumps are really neat. Super mare. Great technique. So we have a bell for her teammate now to start. She's on an 11-year-old mare by Hunter Spendex. Sierra Dupradro Azed. So let's see what plan she has. Again, this looks like a really nice horse on the first couple of jumps. Here we go. So again, you can see just going that little bit wider, not taking too many chances. And up to the combination. Just needs to sit up a little bit. Loads of scope going in. And lots of support. Holes are off that front rail. And just sits back a little bit on the way down to that tall. Now, get this plank out of the way. Don't get too close to it. Horse was very careful. And unlike Alexa, she just decided to go a little bit wider. Selena's just got a little bit more room up to the triple bar. And that gives her the opportunity just to settle this mare coming into this difficult double. Very neat in. And she's brave here. She's come up really tight to the vertical. This team is under a bit of pressure. They really want to set out their stall and move up through the rankings and ensure their place in the playoffs. So this is a really solid start. They've grabbed this by the scruff of the neck, to be fair to these two athletes. They've really got stuck into this round, and well done. They've manufactured 2 clear rounds there, really worked hard for their horses, and their horses worked really hard for them, so they can breathe a sigh of relief. That's a job well done. I'm sure their manager is going to be...
What a start for the Paris Panthers. They start with a double clear. The first team out the gates, the team that is at the bottom of the table, the team that is in desperate need of clears, and they do so with delivering a double clear to kickstart the afternoon. That is simply remarkable from the Paris Panthers, and if anything, does that not set the tone so beautifully for the rest of Global Champions League Round 1. Saint-Tropez Pirates are next in the ring. Duarte Seabra and Philippe Rosier will be coming out for Saint-Tropez Pirates. If you want to join us for the rest of the action live from the Longines Tops International Arena, sign up for a GCTV Live Pass and come watch Stage 10 of the GCL with us.